Oh God! I didn't expect it to be this intense as quick.
You've got a friend in me.
No! Danny! Hello everyone!
Hi!
Welcome back to Haha Oh No, and this is the first of a brand new series, which is aptly titled The Horror Behind!
Check out that new,
What do you think?
Check out that new intro.
What a great new intro, right? That was
It's an intro.
absolutely fantastic.
We haven't even seen that intro, so I hope you guys enjoyed it.
I mean, you guys are learning as much as we're learning right now, but essentially this brand new series, Danny and I speak a lot after our scary stories, and we analyse things in depth, and we thought what better way to put that to the test than to actually take a look at some of the most renowned stories ever created and see if we can actually find the horror behind things that perhaps don't seem so horrifying on the surface.
Yes, we're going to be focusing on things that definitely weren't intended to be scary or creepy, and then sort of ruining it, basically. We're just going to make them scary.
Yeah, we're putting things to the test, but, you know, it's a bit of fun, right?
Yeah.
And the first ever entry in the horror behind is, well, it's a story that's fun to my heart. I think it's a story that's very fun to your
Oh
heart.
God, it's, you know.
And also, there's a brand new movie coming out today, as in the time of filming today.
Well, isn't it Friday? We're putting this out on a Sunday, right?
But this is coming out on a Sunday, but today with, oh, no, it premieres tonight.
Oh, on Sunday?
Thursday.
On Thursday?
The day that we're
tonight
filming
we're filming it. Oh,
We're
right.
filming it on a Thursday, and tonight is the premiere of Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
So if you didn't guess it, well, I mean, you could have looked at the title, but we are looking at the horror behind Toy Story.
Yes.
And you may not think that there's anything horrifying about Toy Story, but we're about to find it.
Yeah, so the way we've done it is Jack's come up with a whole bunch of sort of theories and strange, creepy things about Toy Story that none of you guys probably thought about. I've done the same, and we're just going to swap them in front of you and talk about it. We're only about 50% sure of what, you know, this whole series is about, so we're going to jump right into it and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Let's go.
Shall we start with
Toy Story. What is horrifying about Toy Story? Please, Danny, tell me what's scary about Toy Story.
Okay.
I mean, you got a friend in me. What's scary about that?
Did you read my notes?
No.
That's literally my first one.
No, it isn't.
Did you actually read my first
No,
one?
I actually didn't.
I'm about to tell you what's scary about that.
Oh my, is this real?
100%.
Is it actually?
You've got a friend in me. Okay. So, I'm thinking, the thing about Toy Story, straight off the bat, when you watch it, you take it for granted, right, that the toys can move.
Right.
They're just animated, right?
Yes.
But in like every other form of dark magic or anything, for something inanimate to move, it has to be inhabited, if you like, by a soul.
I'm already scared about where you're going with this.
So what I'm saying is that the toys are possessed with the souls of missing children.
Oh God! I didn't expect it to be this intense as
You've
quick.
got a friend in me.
No, Danny.
All of their friends, like they don't even realize they were all like friends, or they knew each other, or they're all just school kids. And that song is the echoing of these lost children.
I am actually mortified. I'm actually mortified.
I want to hear that song now in like a minor key, like "Got a friend."
Like Tom York Radiohead doing
Yeah.
that. Oh my God. Wow, I did not expect that.
I didn't
expect that.
I didn't expect you to guess it.
Toy Story is already horrifying, everyone. If you think Toy Story is terrifying, as it shows over, everyone.
What do you think?
Wow. Okay, well, I mean, if we can analyse this from an actual analytical perspective in terms of literature,
Yeah.
then yes, like the trope of a living inanimate object is horror 101, right? So I mean, it started with Mary Shelley, with Frankenstein,
Right.
with the fear of the uncanny, any kind. I mean, and now it's bleeding through. Chucky was a big one, you know, Child's Play. Annabelle now is the huge thing, right? Any inanimate object that moves and talks
Yeah.
is scary,
Right.
Intentionally scary, right? Toy Story, when you put it in the lens of happy-go-lucky children playing with these inanimate toys, but they don't know they're inanimate. They don't know they're animate. Sorry.
No. Well, they do, but they just don't know that's strange. That's just them, right?
No, I'm pretty sure that the kids in Toy Story aren't.
Oh, I think you meant the toys don't.
Oh no,
Yeah.
okay, right, yes, right. So the toys know that they're sentient.
Oh, 100%. Because they also know when to switch it off. You know, they cannot. When an adult comes in the room, they're also like,
Oh, they do.
whatever. Or maybe I was about to say they couldn't help but do that, but there are some scenes where they intentionally do that. There's one where, in the first one, when the way they rescue Buzz from being launched off that rocket is
Yes.
that Woody and all the other toys like come to life and they start creeping out Sid.
We toys can see everything.
So they know.
So they are aware of this.
Sid's a very important character, actually. I've got a few points on Sid, but we'll come back to
Okay.
that. But in the terms of the uncanny, because that is a Gothic trope, right? Gothic literature says that I'm terrified of the uncanny. You know that. Anything that appears to be humanoid that isn't is scary, right? But when you apply Toy Story to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Frankenstein doesn't really know what he is.
No.
But if Woody knows exactly what he is and uses that as a thing, there's something weird about that, isn't there?
That's what I'm saying, is that like, yeah, that's why I think they have too much knowledge of humans to
Yes,
not have
they-
some sort of link to being an actual human. That's
They-
why I think they're sort of they are trapped in this netherworld, but they can still come through, just like ghosts can still come through on occasion if they feel strong enough. If you walk into a haunted house and say, you know, come at me, old Farmer Mackenzie, I ain't scared of you, whatever, then that ghost will, you know, do something,
Yeah.
right? So it's almost like when the time arises, these lost souls will rise up. But
And that's when we see them on camera.
yeah,
So, but
you've got a friend in me.
that is horrifying.
All right,
You've got a friend in me. All right. I mean, I didn't expect it to be that intense so
you guessed.
quickly.
You guessed it.
On that point, then, if we're talking about the first films and kind of like the first impressions, like Toy Story obviously was a fantastic film when it first came out. No one ever thought it'd be scary, but we're going to think it's scary. An overarching theme, I want to focus on a very specific character, which is if these creatures are sentient or trapped souls, what about Mr. Potato Head? Because that poor toy has been through so much horror, so much physical horror. Like, he is the definition of body horror.
But also, like, people go, ha ha ha, he's just a toy, like, but he screams.
He screams.
Like, we all sort of laugh, but like, he's like, ah, when stuff comes off. Like, if he didn't care, he wouldn't care. It would be like Woody taking his hat off, but he knows that he's just lost an ear, and he seems to show the same signs of life that we would do if we lost an ear. Like,
Left,
and
right,
we're all
and
just
centre.
like, ha ha ha.
Left, right, and centre, people are pulling his eyes off,
Yeah.
putting hats on places that they shouldn't be,
Yeah.
arms and ears. Mr. Potato Head is in eternal torment.
Yeah.
And if we're using your basis as a thing,
Okay.
if he is a sentient soul or whatever,
Yeah.
what a poor place to end up if you're a recycled soul in a toy.
And what's even worse is that, like, if you lose an arm,
Yeah.
that's the only time you're losing that arm in your life.
Yep.
They stick it back on Mr. Potato Head.
He loses it.
And he loses it maybe seconds later. Ah! All over again. Like, was it when Andy's sister sort of gets hold and is like pulling, and then they put him back together, and he's all his limbs falling off. It never stops. It's like it's like that Punishment. What's the Greek with the crow eating the liver?
Oh my God, Theseus? No,
Yeah.
is it Theseus?
Or was it one with the fire? Was it Prometheus?
Prometheus. Sorry, it was Prometheus who
Yeah.
stole fire from Olympus,
Yeah.
and in punishment,
Yes.
the gods.
Forever. Like, that was the ultimate punishment. when you
That's
don't
Mr.
lose it.
Potato Head.
Mr. Potato Head is constantly having his limbs and all his body parts like pulled out
By children.
by children.
And other toys.
Yeah.
As well.
What's he done? But now you got to think, what's he done to deserve?
To deserve that.
Maybe he is evil. Like,
But I mean, if we talk it from like a physical aspect as well, like body horror is a huge trope
Yeah.
in horror. Like David Cronenberg, the king of all of it, Canadian. Obviously, The Fly, Jeff Goldblum. If you apply that kind of trope, I mean, if David Cronenberg made a film where an individual's limbs were constantly being pulled off and then put back on by some kind of malevolent force or other people, that's like the most disturbing horror film I've ever heard of.
It is. You could describe Mr. Potato Head accurately to someone who's never seen Toy Story, and they would be horrified that that's a children's movie.
And then he got a wife,
Yeah.
and they did the same thing to her.
Yeah. Did they have a kid in the end?
Oh, please don't tell me they had a kid.
God. That is horrific. That is horrific.
Poor Mr. Potato Head.
You would not believe what I've been through tonight.
This one's a bit out there. You have to sort of roll with me on this one. You remember when Buzz first jumped out of the box and he radioed to command and said, "We're in a strange alien world."
Yeah.
You know, and you instantly think, right, well, you know that's because it's Buzz and it's, you know, he thinks
It's funny.
it's a toy, whatever kind of thing. I think that, like, Toy Story is like a darker version of The Matrix.
Free your mind.
Wow.
And this is what I think it's set in a virtual world where the toys are basically all quarantined viruses, and Sid is the virus debugger. The viruses are coded with fantasy plot lines to play out while Sid debugs them. So I looked at the meaning of SID as an acronym, and it stands for Security Identifier. So it's a security feature of Windows, where Windows grants or denies access and privileges to resources which uses SIDs to uniquely identify users and their group memberships. So basically, SID is just sort of like, right?
He's like the architect.
Exactly.
No.
So, and soon after, they see Sid destroying toys, right? He's destroying these toys, and that's why the toys are so hell-bent on getting past Sid, because they can get past him, the viruses, you know, but he's the most advanced debugger, and he's in this virtual world.
Danny, you're actually blowing my mind.
So that's why Sid has a lab where he, quote, says he makes the toys better by replacing their parts, and the parts is their code.
No!
And there's that famous scene in the first one where he has a magnifying glass with Woody, and he says, "We have ways of making you talk."
Yes.
Like he knows.
Well,
He
that's a
knows.
throwback to a film, though, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember what film it
But
is.
it's like a gangster. That's what it meant. Yeah, on the surface, just like an old gangster
It's a happy,
reference.
yeah.
But it's like he's saying that because he knows Woody can talk. He wants him to give up his code, basically, so he knows what to fix.
Well,
what
that's
to
true,
take
actually,
apart.
because just to zone on that line, we have ways of making you talk.
Yeah.
That's a little bit interesting, isn't it, for a kids' film?
Yeah.
To have the kind of almost forefront knowledge of, yeah, this character knows that this thing can talk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he knows how does he know, right? So, and then when Buzz loses his arms, loses one of his arms.
Yeah.
The mutant toys fix him.
Yes.
So they're basically putting his virus code back together again because they know or whatever. And as they evolve in strength throughout the movies, Sid does too. He becomes an actual garbage man now. He's not just in his room anymore. He's rooting through all the trash to destroy viruses. He's going down whole streets in just dumping it all, trying to grind it up. And in Toy Story 3, it's sort of like in The Matrix where it's like the final attempt is to create Lotso as a virus, right? He's like, the only way I can defeat them is if I have this sort of host or whatever.
No.
And the incinerator was the final attempt at that, but it was thwarted by the aliens. That's my theory, and I even in this sort of crazy Matrix world, I even came up with an acronym for what toys means. If SID means that, and toy stands for tools of your struggle, and so there's this like it's a resistance. It's the resistance who are trying to like.
Didn't expect it. I did not expect
that one. I got a bit carried away with that one.
You come up with that theory?
Yeah.
Okay, right, so Danny and I sat down, we're like, we're gonna have a great little chat about the horror behind Toy Story, and now I'm really freaked out, because I think you're actually onto something there, dude. I think you're onto something there.
There's probably more there, like it's one of those theories that like, it's quite open. If anyone else wants to jump in, they can sort of add things to it. But that's my theory.
Okay, if metaphorically speaking, if Toy Story is an allegory for what you say, it fits quite well.
It was. You also,
like a glove.
also think about the time it was created in as well. This was the sort of dawn of the internet, and this was perhaps one of the first I don't know, real virtual films as we would call it, you know, like
Yes,
like not,
yes.
not traditional animation, but like actual
Well,
full.
It was one of the first kind of computer-generated films, wasn't
Right.
it? Like fully.
Yes.
There were many more before that. Obviously, Tron is one of them and stuff.
Yeah.
But in terms of like
Fully, like not a single, you know, person in there. So they are in this sort of virtual world, and I guess, you know, art is always a sign of the times, and I think leading up to the millennium, people were sort of very paranoid about the bugs and hackers, and like, you just don't hear that much about it these days, but I think at the time, maybe that was it. They were, you know, and it starts with Buzz being the latest virus to be dropped into
crash landing into the
pit.
He's
you know?
Neo. He's Neo.
Yeah, exactly.
Buzz
yeah.
is Neo.
Yeah. He's a
Wow.
Yeah.
Woody's Morpheus.
So what if that's based? And he kept saying to him, "It's like you're not a toy," because
Yeah,
he's like
oh my
he's telling
God.
him. And so he says you are a toy, because he keeps trying to tell him like what, because he's when they first get programmed with these fantasies, because it's meant to just keep them busy while Sid trying to destroy them. So obviously he's fresh off the boat. So all of them go through that phase and that process where they have to realise they're a toy and what it is, and they form this resistance, whatever. But obviously Buzz was fresh off the boat. It took him a while for him to realise that this wasn't a fantasy and what he really was, and to get past Sid, and that was the ultimate goal. Like,
Wow.
and to get out and to escape.
I'm actually blown away. I didn't expect this. Right, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Where are your rebel friends now?
Your Pop-Tarts get ready.
All right!
So watching the first film and kind of like taking into account who Sid is as a character, right? Obviously the horror's there. The guy's got a little shaved head. Kind of looks a little bit like me. He's got a black t-shirt on with a skull on and stuff. He's in his bedroom like pulling things apart. But Sid as a central theme as a character kind of goes through each and every film, and we see him again in the third film. You touched on that. But there's a lot of mise en scène with Sid in both of the films. In the first film, did you know that Sid's house has the exact same carpets as the carpets from the Overlook Hotel in The Shining?
I've heard this. Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah. That's creepy.
Isn't that creepy? And then also on that note, in the third film, when you mentioned that Sid becomes a garbage truck driver. Well, we think he is, right?
Yeah.
It looks like Sid.
Yeah.
The number plate on that garbage truck is RM237, which is room 237.
Oh, room. I was wondering what the RM stands for. Room, of course.
Which is the room in The Shining,
Okay.
which is forbidden.
Okay.
Why does Toy Story have such direct references to The Shining?
Well, what's the what are they trying to say? More like.
Exactly. Is it like a little kind of, a little nod to, yeah, we're adults, we're making a kids film.
Yeah.
We're making things a little bit scary.
Or maybe they were trying to show you that there's parallels between them. What are the parallels
There
between
we go.
The Shining and Toy Story? What do you think?
Well, what are the parallels between The Shining and Toy Story? Being possessed.
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
and that could be that could carry on to the key figures of the.
Yeah. So like that's something to do with play, toys there.
Well, okay, so we can leave to the next one, because Toy Story 3, I don't care what anyone says, is a horror film.
It's definitely scary towards the end.
Toy Story 3 is a horror film. And the director of Toy Story 3 was a guy called Lee Unkrich. And he has publicly said Toy Story was an inspiration as him as a filmmaker, and that's why he took him the third one. But his favourite film of all time is The Shining. Maybe that kind of played a little thing into him directing the third one and literally turn it into a horror film.
Turning it into a horror film. Oh.
Because start to finish, right? Start to finish, Toy Story 3 is a prison break film. So Lotso, the evil bear, takes them into his kind of like magical kingdom, or so to speak, and the entire film is then breaking out.
Okay.
How do kids deal with that?
Yeah.
Kids don't know that. Lotso's just like a little, like, nice little cuddly bear.
So it could be sort of like a PG version of like something like The Shining or something. Could be like subliminally putting these themes in there,
Right.
of like trying to break out of you know, essentially like everywhere they get trapped in, whether it's like Al's toy barn or whatever, is like a hellish, you know, dystopian, like something's not quite right about this place, you know? Like maybe it's sort of trying to get kids familiar with these themes so that when they grow up, they're going to watch these films and go, where have I felt this before? Where have I felt that feeling?
Because the horror is there.
The horror, but it's not, and it's also them sort of maybe trying to skillfully put it under, you know, so that everyone walks away going, what a great film, kids film, but...
But in Toy Story 3, Lotso himself, when I can't remember who loses a body part, but he says, don't worry, we have replacement parts, right? So this bear, this cuddly purple bear, literally has an almost like apocalyptic band of survivors.
Yeah.
But why has he got spare toy parts lying around?
Yeah.
What has he done to get those? What has he done to get them?
Well, he must have like...
He's stockpiling them.
Yeah. What for?
Yeah.
What for?
I don't know.
Other than, I mean, yeah, like if you wanna play devil's advocate, you could be like, oh, maybe he's doing it so that if any of the toys lose their parts, he can put them together again. But then you have to go one further back and
Where
say
did you get
where they get them from.
Why are
It's
toys
it's
cannibalising toys?
It's like if someone came up to you and was like, don't worry, I'm a really good surgeon.
Because
I
they
can put an arm on you. Like, where'd you get the arm from? Then?
Where's Mr. Potato Head? He's got arms left, right, and centre.
Exactly.
He can't fit another one in, can he? Poor bloke.
What are you gonna say?
But progressively, I'd say that 1, 2, and 3 get more horrific. And do you think that's Disney kind of like touching on? I know there was a period in the early 90s where Disney kind of went whole hog on trying to make films scarier. Do you know what I mean? There was a period where Disney tried to be a horror outlet, right?
A lot of their movies are. Like, again, it's sort of like Miss Potato Head. If you just explain it to someone who's never seen Pixar before, a lot of them are creepy.
Yeah.
If you said a planet, if you said Earth in the future, destroyed, polluted, not a single living thing, a strange robot roams around.
Wall-E.
You know, you're putting like, you're compacting still. Like that sounds like the start of like something really creepy or odd or, you know. But when you see it, you know, that's the skill. It's like taking these themes.
It's masterful.
Putting on, and the human race has been reduced to these fat oafs on a, you know, shit.
Maybe we could do Wall-E in a future
I'd love, oh
episode.
my god, I'd love to do that.
That'd be great.
I'd love to do that.
We'll do that.
Yeah, definitely.
But whilst on the point of Toy Story 3 as well, though, I mean, we have to talk about the ending to Toy Story 3, right? You were telling me that story where those bunch of guys taped Toy Story 3 and they cut off the actual
actual
cathartic ending.
Yeah, there were some guys who basically pranked their mum by showing her Toy Story 3 for the first time, but they didn't show her the resolution. So when, you know, spoiler alert, I mean it's 2010, so not really
People know
spoiler
you've
alert,
seen it.
but
you've seen it.
they get saved from the incinerator at the last second by the claw. She didn't see that, so from her point of view, it was horrifying.
It was the saddest film of all time.
Especially because it had been like 14 years or whatever of these characters, and she just like, is that it? They just get burnt, and then it's like But that's the only thing that stopped that from being horror. But this is what horror is. Like, the only thing that pulls the brakes back on horror is them being
Is the
saved.
ending.
It's some sort of. Otherwise, it's just horrific.
Well, it's the resolution, right?
And that resolution had to be like really, really nice and friendly and cuddly to pull the brakes on that. They were about to get incinerated.
They weren't just about to get incinerated. They went through like a gauntlet of devious traps and contraptions. Also trying to kill them, pulling levers and stuff, left, right, and centre. Literally the only people that they care about. They're toys, right? And if we're taking Danny's theory as a given, they're souls trying to stay alive. And another one of those toy souls is literally trying to incinerate them.
Yeah. Horrifying.
It's a kid's film.
I want to sort of jump off or use your symbolism you talked about for my one.
Go on.
My next one.
Let's go.
Because this one is just like pure symbolism. So I think that symbolically, all the characters in Toy Story represent the doom of humanity in different ways, and they're all warning signs, and so they're all like the worst things or the things that can happen to us or whatever.
Go on.
So Woody is law and Jessie is order, right? They represent the enslavement by the government and the fact that we've just become these, bureaucratic creatures and everything like that. Buzz shows that we're a slave of technology. That's what we've become now. Ham is a reminder that we're nothing more than just talking animals. We're sort of disgusting, animalistic. We wallow in our own filth or pollution, whatever you want to call it. Potato Head represents literally a potato. He's just a reminder that we're slaves to our body. We're sort of these mortal creatures.
Pulling arms left, right, centre. So.
Yeah. Little Bo Peep we're sheep. We're herd animals. We're easily corralled, whatever. Rex is a reminder that humans can be wiped out in an instant. Doesn't matter how advanced we think we are or how far we've come, it can be wiped out in an instant. And on the other side of things, the aliens are a reminder that we're nothing in the sheer size of the cosmos, and that all of the life forms out there, and so each of them come together to spell the doom of humanity, and also a reminder of our own arrogance.
I didn't expect any of this. I actually didn't expect any of this. But you're right. You're right.
I hope I'm not right.
Toy Story is horrifying.
I hope not.
The signs are all there.
I'm sure there's more characters you can add to that, but I think I went with the core group plus Jesse. I just thought Lord.
No, that's good. That's good.
At the start, yeah.
What's Lotso then?
I mean, you could go through this. The thing. This is why it's a bit of an open theory. You could go through everyone, I guess.
Is he like the broken generation?
Yeah, or I don't know, like a teddy bear. He could be. They could be. We could go into like more detailed stuff about childhood trauma or something like this, or like.
I'd say that he's more like old age. Do you know what I mean? Or like kind of a jaded generation.
Yeah, or he could be.
He was like, I could have been the best.
Yes,
yeah.
But he could be the example of humans tearing each other apart, because
Envy.
He's one of the first examples of toys really. It's like in a civil war,
Yes.
Toys are for the most of Toy Story up to that point, they're on the same side.
Yes.
There are lots that comes along, and that's why you don't see it coming, because you're thinking there's no way, because what we know is that the bad things are Sid, are Al, like they're humans. Humans are the bad things, and he comes along and shows that humans could be their own downfall. It could be war, It could be us tearing each other apart, like a stuff.
Well, there's also Buzz Lightyear's immortal villain. What's his name?
Oh,
Zurg.
Zurg.
Zurg?
Yeah, Zurg.
Is it Zurg?
Yeah.
Zurg. Is it Zurg?
Yeah.
Z-U-R-G. Zurg. And I'm pretty sure, actually, I vaguely remember watching the Disney Channel animated Toy Story series, and I'm pretty sure Zurg is Buzz Lightyear's father.
Yes, he is. They have that scene, don't they?
It is, isn't it?
That's canon.
No, Buzz. I am your father.
Yeah.
That's canon?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there we go. There's another horrifying thing.
Yeah, that was weird.
Buzz Lightyear was progenited by Zurg. How did that happen?
Is there a mother involved in this? Maybe. Hey, we haven't seen Toy Story 4 yet. It could be.
Maybe. Well, I think I have been well and truly educated in the actual true horrors behind Toy Story. I came into this expecting a little bit of light-hearted fun, kind of like picking apart a few little tropes of horror. I'm actually mortified.
Yeah.
Toy Story is actually a simulation.
You know what I really like about this is that, like, you come here thinking you're just gonna say it and that's out there, but like I want to talk about this for hours now. There's so much, and this is just one movie. So I'm really excited to dive into other movies, topics. We're gonna do anything. If you can think of, I don't know, a pop star or like a TV show or your favorite comedian, whatever it is. We're going to try and look at the really scary aspects. What could be going on underneath the surface. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that.
And on the flip side to that, though, we are also going to try and look at the humorous side to actual horror. So as well as the horror behind, we're going to be exploring the humor behind, which may be funny or
might be even more
terrifying.
scary. I don't know.
Yeah, might even.
We don't know
Yeah.
But thanks for watching, guys. Let us know what you think of our first new series on the channel. We've been talking about this for a while, so we're really excited to get feedback. Business as usual with the scary stories. They haven't gone away. Don't worry about them.
Don't worry about that.
One's coming very soon. But thanks for watching, guys. We don't have a fire to blow out now, do we?
We don't, but we could ask you the question. What do you guys think? Do you think that we found the horror behind Toy Story? I think we have.
I think we have. Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Bye-bye.